to the Squeeze podcast. I'm Ashlea, the Orange Lady, and this is my sister,
Bethany.
We are going to talk about leadership in the modern workplace. I don't know. Let's call it squeezing success.
Juicy.
Juicy. I asked people on Instagram recently to share like best and worst stories from, their careers. So we'll get into that a little bit later. I want to talk about some experiences I've had and more just kind of like, I'm experiencing this. Are you seeing this too? Type of dialogue instead of like, I know all these things, because I don't. So one of the things that I wanted to start with was I have, over 20 years of experience at this point, and I have worked with great leaders. Some of my content has even highlighted Ralph Capps, who was one of my first executive directors that we called them Ralphisms. He would share that were so insightful and so motivating. And then I have worked for some bosses that I would call milquetoast. Like they're just like, they're like neutral. It's like they're neither great nor bad. They just are. And then I have also worked for toxic bosses or in toxic environments where people are what I would call sharks. Like they are in it for themselves. There's like nothing else. They will smile in your face and pretend like they're collaborating, but then take credit for the work or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Been there. Yeah. So would you say you also experienced all of those?
Yeah. Before I was with my current employer. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So yeah, sadly, we have experienced all of these things. Everything I read a lot about career stuff online, and, I listen to like the Job Dr. Tessa. Here, plug. Yeah. If you don't follow Job Dr. Tessa on Instagram, or if you don't buy her book, what is her book called? Hold on. I don't know. I'll look it up in a second. I'll tell you. But it is worth it. I also love the audio. I have the audiobook version because it's her reading it, and that just makes it even better. But I learned so much from her, and she talks a lot about navigating workplace situations and leadership. And I guess what I'm saying is I take in all this content. But then I see the workplace, and not just mine, but I work with all kinds of folks in the juice bar at the Squeeze. And I'm like, who is actually doing these magical things I'm reading about? Because most of the time, it's like toxic stuff. Okay, Job Dr. Tessa's book is The Unspoken Truth. And she's like, lies about, power at work, lies about politics at work. It is refreshing and very, very informative. She is honest and worth it. Okay. So if you want a relatable career book that is not fake, it's not going to make you feel like you're being gaslit, that's the one. So that's maybe what I'm actually trying to say. Do you ever feel like you're being gaslit? Like, where are these magical employers that, these teams are great? Like, do they exist?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, where are these unicorns and rainbows?
You've always been too good to be true situation.
It's like the honeymoon stage. Where you're like, this is amazing. They value me. They think I'm great. I think they're great. And then it's like you peek under the hood, or like you pull back the green curtain, Wizard of Oz reference. And you're like, oh, this is awful. Yeah, that's a good point. I always check in with people after like 90 days and then 6 months, because you can learn so much outside that first 30 days.
A big life event.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about people that are also getting ready to start their leadership journey. And in my career, have led teams of one, I guess two, me and another person. And I have led teams of 50. So I am not speaking about this also from somebody that has never had to manage people, because I very much distinguish between management and leadership. Plenty of people just manage. Like, would you say that you have worked for any leaders or just managers?
No, I mean, without saying too much, no, I definitely feel like I have witnessed what can be a leader, the potential of being a leader,
Yeah.
just not there yet.
I think that there's a lot of times that people may have a desire to be a leader versus a manager, but if it's not also systematically supported and rewarded, and no, I'm not just talking about how millennials and Gen Z are so needy and always need to be praised, but like, is there anything wrong with telling someone good job?
Words of affirmation. Yeah, it is huge for me. And learning to what each of your employees' needs are so that you can pull out the best of them and their potential. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a friend that was telling me a story about asking, like, hey, I don't know if I'm doing a good job. You have never kind of given me affirmation or thanked me or, shown any gratitude. And the response was, okay, lean in. You're going to want to hear this. The response was, well, if we didn't think you were doing a good job, you wouldn't have a job. It's like, whoa, like toxic. Yeah. Light bulbs going off. So I just want to know, where are these magical places? Tell us about some of the best bosses you have worked for. The thing about a great boss is that eventually you're going to leave them or they're going to leave you, and it doesn't last forever. And so these pieces of, I guess we have to call it learning, are super important to figure out how to navigate. I want to go to some of the things on Instagram that you shared with me when I said leadership at work, best or worst things that you have heard. Somebody said, the worst I've heard was, I have a change of heart. My immediate response to that was like, is this a relationship or a work situation? Because I thought that we hired people and made decisions based on data and feedback, not
allowed to fall in love with me.
Or fall out of love with me. You hired me, you're upset. Yeah, that is just, I can't imagine being told that at the workplace, because I don't even know how to process that.
I think I would laugh.
What are you talking about?
Like, excuse me?
Okay, so somebody else said there was a rule where employees couldn't bring laptops to meetings. Okay, I have also experienced this rule with one of the team meetings that I was on at Google. Like, most of them, people bring their laptops, right? You're taking notes, you're referencing things. But there was one full team meeting where it was laptops closed. And I am also a person that needs to be doing something to stay attentive and engaged. I can't just sit and listen. That does not work for my ADHD self. So I would take a notebook in and take notes. So the flip side of this is that I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to say I see both sides, because I do understand, because I do it. If my computer's open, I am going to respond to an email, read an email, look at my messages, my chat. I'm going to do other things. I get it. And like, that is realistic. Like, if people have their computers open, they're not just taking notes about the great things you're saying in a meeting, they're doing other things. So I do understand that. I think it has to be clear. Like, I actually didn't know that until the first meeting, and somebody was like, for me, they like closed my computer for me, and then we're just kind of like leaned over and like, this, laptop down. And I was, I don't know if I was humiliated. I was embarrassed, and like it hit me. Like, it really stunned me. I wasn't prepared than I was going forward, but I just feel like if you are going to have that expectation, it should be addressed. If you're adding new people to the team, or like, hey, remember, these are kind of the expectations I have for this meeting. That would be a lot better.
Definitely. I'm like, I've had my laptop sitting there, but I'm definitely the one that like I still handwrite notes, and that's just how I engage better anyway than typing them. So I can have my laptop there, but I'll always be writing everything anyway.
So this was just like a little touch of like, tell us where these amazing leaders are that you have experienced, want to hear about it. And if you want to hear more stories or more advice on this topic, let us know, because I could talk a lot more about it. Okay, now you got the juice. Time to put it to use. Bye.
Bye.